Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Jordy's Basement. My name is Jordan, and this is part 2 of the very cool collection that I was able to acquire a couple of weeks ago. I recorded version 1 or part 1 of that. You should definitely check that out if you haven't already. A lot of great stuff, and I'll link to that video here in this one. Now, in part 2, we're just going to continue. It's really just a 3-box haul. There's probably going to be a part 3. And as I mentioned in the first video, there's just as much stuff, twice as much stuff actually, that is in the maybe boxes across the room here that I might be making yet another video on to see if possibly they're for trade or if you want to inquire about them. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with those yet. But again, this is part 2, and again, no particular order. Just going to grab them as I see them and throw them up there and share them with you guys. This is Fleetwood Mac's Bare Trees to start us off. This is the Bob Welch version of the band before Stevie and Lindsey joined. Got a great early version of Sentimental Lady on this, which became a solo hit for Bob Welch later after he left the band. But these, again, as I mentioned in the first video, pristine condition. I'm not sure about pressing, whether they're first press, second press, I don't know. Some of them I do, but I just didn't take that much time on Discogs yet. Most of them haven't even been cleaned, even though most of them don't even need to be cleaned. They're beautiful. Anyways, starting off with some Fleetwood Mac. This America, Holiday. Love me some America. Now here's an interesting one that I have listened to. Find a place for these. This is by an artist called Emitt Rhodes. I had never heard of him before, but this is an amazing story. If you don't know who Emitt Rhodes is, you should definitely look him up. He was this up-and-coming super stud on the Dunhill label, I believe it is. And yes, there it is. And he made this album in his house. I think he was 20 years old, maybe 21. And it's very Beatlesque, but he played all the instruments by himself in his living room in his house. It sounds great. And it's this lo-fi kind of power poppy pop stuff. It's really brilliant. And they hid it from the record company that he did it in his house, because apparently back then it was frowned upon if you made albums, without the studio and the big producer. But this is a very, very, very good album. Sadly, he never really made it big time, but this is really good. Emitt Rhodes, self-titled. Highly recommended. Rick Wakeman, The Six Wives of Henry the Eighth. Henry the Seventh, who cares? It's Henry. Look at that. Look at that. It's an iconic picture of the great Rick Wakeman. There wasn't much prog in this collection, so I was happy when I saw this one. And this is on the green A&M label. Some of these labels are so cool to look at, just from an aesthetic standpoint, because you don't see them today anymore. I'm going to skip some of these. Some of these are kind of common, like this Eagles Desperado, which is a beautiful copy. I've seen this album out in the wild a lot, but you can see how there's no ring wear, nothing. It's textured. It's really awesome. I heard that the Eagles are releasing that on a MoFi or a half-speed mastering soon, which is kind of cool. Here's Streisand, Hello Dolly, for those of you who are into your Babs. A lot of Streisand in this collection. I mean, we always see a lot of Streisand out in the wild, but I never see it in this good a condition. Oh, here's a classic. You're going to love this one. Barry Manilow. The debut album. And he's wearing such a nice t-shirt. It's so appropriate. Screw, it says. I guess that's what his music made some people do. The original Silver Bell label. Look at that. Quality on that vinyl. Great condition. This is where it all began for Barry. Have a Marijuana. This is really funny. This it's on Elektra. I'd never heard this before. It's actually kind of a comedy, kind of Vietnam War protest stuff. Streets of New York. It was recorded, and I can't remember the gentleman's name who's behind the whole thing. David Peel. But it's really him chanting these songs with his band, and it's obviously you can almost see them gathered together in the park with the bandanas and the long hair, talking about the war and getting stoned. I mean, these song titles, Mother, Where Is My Father? I Like Marijuana. Here Comes the Cop. I've Got Some Grass. I Do My Bowling in the Bathroom. Show Me the Way to Get Stoned. You get the picture. I listened to this online while I was looking it over. It's very funny, and it's really kind of cool, a period piece for the late 60s. Here's a famous album cover, The First Family, another comedy album. I've seen this everywhere. I've never owned it, so I'm looking forward to hearing that. More Streisand. Here are 2 albums that I've never owned. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm a vinyl guy. I've never owned them. What can I tell you? Neil Young, Harvest. And this is, I don't know if it's an original. I really don't know. Maybe you can tell me. It's in the inner sleeve is paper. I mean, well, it's all paper, right? But this is like a textured paper, if that means anything, on the Orange Reprise label. Harvest Neil Young. I can't believe I've never owned any Neil Young. I have CSNY stuff, but never any solo Neil. And to go along with that one, there's After the Gold Rush. Great picture of Neil on the inside. Again, I don't know if it's an original. I'm not going to pull this one out. Here's a really nice, I'm very, very excited to have this. Let me get rid of that alert. This is my 4th copy of this album. I've never owned it in MoFi. I'm very excited. This was part of the haul. It is opened. If you saw my first video, you saw the Abbey Road MoFi that was unopened that I'm not going to open. This I can't wait to hear. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. It's certainly one of the best sounding albums of all time. And I went years looking for a great copy. It didn't have any ringware or anything on it, you know, because it's all, you know, jet black. Finally found one, and it skipped all over the place. So I finally folded and bought the reissue, which sounds really nice. And that's back here. But now I have this one, so now there's Asia all over the place. Did I even mention it was Steely Dan Asia? Do we even have to mention that? It's a classic. Moving on, Bill Withers, Just As I Am. Very cool. This, of course, has, what's the song? Ain't No Sunshine. Of course, it's got several great songs, but Ain't No Sunshine, certainly a classic on that album. This is a really nice piece. Again, there wasn't much prog, but this is one of the ones that was there, and it's awesome. Jethro Tull, Living in the Past. And this is a hardback book. I mean, it's literally a book. I can't really show you. I'm kind of too close to the camera. But it's a book that's kind of interspersed with albums. Very, 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 very interesting packaging, textured, very cool, and in phenomenal condition. Even though I just knocked all over it and probably ruined it. One more Jethro Tull. Too old to rock and roll, too young to die. Very good, very cool looking package. How many times can I say very cool? One more prog for you before we move on. Renaissance. Turn of the Cards, Annie Haslam and Renaissance. This is before, who was the guitarist who passed away? Michael Dunford. I know that he passed away, I don't know how many years ago, but this was back when they were up and coming. Turn of the Cards. I got to see Annie and Renaissance live at the Yestival here in Philly some 10 years ago. It was very, very good. And I had not purchased George Harrison's All Things Must Pass reissue. I was waiting. I did not own it before on vinyl, but now I'm not going to buy it because this version is absolutely gorgeous. It's not often that you see All Things Must Pass in the box, the original box, in this good condition with the spine perfect, no tears, no scuffs. I mean, the inside is just, again, if you own it, you know it. I looked at the records. They don't look like they were ever even played. I'm going to pass on the reissue. I'm going to go with this one. It's got all 3 discs in it. It's beautiful. Apple label, George Harrison, All Things Must Pass. Very happy to have that. More America, Homecoming with Ventura Highway on it. This opens up 3 ways. Live. I'm not a big live album guy, but I listened to this online and decided to keep it. Live Cream, Volume 2. This contains White Room, Sunshine of Your Love, and my favorite, Tales of Brave Ulysses. And this is just phenomenal. Just terrific. They're just like at their dirtiest and heaviest. Excellent stuff. McCoy Tyner Trio, more jazz on the Impulse label. There's a bunch of Impulse stuff in here. And guys, I wish I could tell you. You probably think I'm some kind of a non-deserving collector because I don't know if this is original or not, but it's got that classic red and black Impulse label, and it's in phenomenal condition. I can't wait to listen to it. The McCoy Tyner Trio. All right, now with some fusion. Gary Burton with Chick Corea. This is Crystal Silence. This is from 73? 73. Ah, yes, never owned this. The Doors. And this is not in the greatest of shape in terms of the outer, but you know, play the outer, play the inner. And this is, again, I don't know if it's original. I certainly think the inner sleeve is, but it's on a gold Electra label. I don't know, you tell me. I love the videos when people put the albums back into the sleeves and I get annoyed. Sorry. All right, a couple more in this box. You Don't Mess Around with Jim. And that Jim, of course, Jim Croce. Classic album I've never owned. Tons of hits on this. You Don't Mess Around with Jim. New York's Not My Home. Photographs and Memories. Operator, Time in a Bottle. You Don't Mess Around with Jim. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous copy of that. Another MoFi. And this is Year of the Cat, Al Stewart. An album that I never owned. Of course, I know the song. Everybody knows the song, Year of the Cat. It's a pretty cool tune. I don't know the rest of this. I did read about it, and it's supposed to be pretty good, so I will keep this MoFi. Oh, there's more. Wait, there's more. 10 minutes. We'll keep going. Here's the debut album from David Crosby. Anything with Crosby, Stills, Nash, or Young, I'm going to keep because I don't own many of it, and look at that. That's intense. I mean, David's an intense guy. I don't know how good or bad this album is. It looks like it's a pretty early pressing. I'm excited to have it, so it's in the collection. All right, going to continue on. See how far we can go here. This is a cool package. The Spinners. We went from David Crosby to the Spinners. Pick of the litter. Voila. Pretty cool package. I love the packaging in the 70s. Have I said that before? But this one has All That Glitters Is Gold and Games People Play, which is a great, great song from these Philly guys, the Spinners. Very excited to have that. I gotta be careful how I put that back in the box. Procol Harum's Grand Hotel. I showed some Procol Harum on the first volume of this haul. This album is tremendous. It's not a concept album, but yet it's got this incredible, I gotta show you the inside of this. Welcome to the Grand Hotel. And it's just got this great lyric book with illustrations and everything. But yet it's not a concept album I've read online. It's pretty strange. But it is a terrific album. I'm not all that familiar with Procol Harum, although I do love Salty Dog, Conquistador. Neither of those songs are on this album. So I was always curious of what they sounded like. And this album, if this album is any indication, I'm going to be really liking Procol Harum a lot in the coming months. Another Rod Stewart. This one's Every Picture Tells a Story. This is the classic with Maggie May. The big fold out. And Stewart just did incredible stuff in the 70s. His packaging was it's incredible. And of course Maggie May is on this album, but there's other songs that are Reason to Believe is phenomenal. I Know I'm Losing You, and of course Every Picture Tells a Story. This album is like the greatest hits album. It's terrific. I'm very, very excited to have that. I showed the first Carly Simon album in the first video. How about her? I think this is her third album, No Secrets. This is the one that really broke her. It's got You're So Vain, No Secrets. It's got a couple James Taylor. She was married to him at this point, I believe. Newly married to James Taylor when this album came out. So looking forward to hearing that. And come on, I mean, she was hot, right? My opinion. Montreux. Oh, this is a jazz album. This is Oscar Peterson. Yeah, Oscar Peterson Big Six at the Montreux Jazz Festival, 1975. This might be original. I don't know. It's on the Pablo record label. Again, I'm trying to jazz up, so whatever jazz I can find. More Pat Metheny with Lionel Mays and Mark Eager and Dan Gottlieb. This will be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to hearing that. No, let's give me some of the more common ones in here. Dave Mason, Alone Together. Again, I know Dave Mason from Traffic, and he had that one-hit single that escapes me at the moment. It's not on this album, but a cool package, very 70s. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. I already have a copy of this, and this is Deja Vu, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. I probably should say what it is. But what's interesting about this, and if I can turn around, I don't know if I can grab it from here. No. It's in here somewhere. Crosby. Anyway, all right. Take my word for it. The version I have is red. This is not. This is black in nature, and it's more textured. And I know that there was a difference. You can almost see the texture on that. My version that I had before was not like this. The inside is the same, the pictures and all. The label is identical, I believe. I don't know, it might be an earlier pressing. Again, I haven't done much research on it. Maybe you can tell me. But this is a beautiful, perfect, spine is awesome. And of course, this album is just No introduction needed. So now I have 2 copies of it. Here's the debut album of what would become Loggins and Messina. It was called Kenny Loggins with Jim Messina. And this is, of course, this has House at Pooh Corner. Danny's song is on this album. It's a pleasant listen. It's not as yacht rocky as they would get later, but still pretty good. Super Hits Volume 5. I see this and I think K-Tel Records. This is not K-Tel, this is Atlantic Records. But this was done, you can see the classic Atlantic label. I just thought it was very reminiscent of the old K-Tel days. Aretha, Tyrone Davis, Wilson Pickett, Led Zeppelin, Whole Lotta Love. So it's bluesy, it's pretty cool. I'm keeping it. Here's a classic, Al Green, Let's Stay Together. It's a classic that I've never heard. I just never owned any soul. I'm excited to have it. I know it's up there. It's considered one of the great soul albums of all time. And this might be an early stereo High Records. High Records. I don't know how early a pressing it is. I don't care. I'm happy to have it. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. First album on the Cotillion label. This is an absolute classic beast. I keep saying there's not a lot of prog in here, but I'm pulling out more prog than I thought I remembered. Procol Harum, Salty Dog, I mentioned this earlier. I love this song. It's one of my favorite, probably 50 songs of all time. I absolutely love it. So I'm looking forward to hearing it in the context of the album. Album cover. He looks pretty salty. All right, this is The Worst of Jefferson Airplane. It's a very funny title. I don't own any Jefferson Airplane. Look at that. That is a great shot. RCA Victor. And this is in tremendous condition. Great booklet in there. The black Victor label. I love black labels. I love that they're flush with the black vinyl, and it just looks really cool. Not a big Bob Seger fan. Never have been. But this is an album that I probably should have. Stranger in Town, quite possibly. It's like a greatest hits album. Hollywood Nights, Old Time Rock and Roll, etc., etc. It's packed with hits, so my first and only. Here's an early Neil Young, Crazy. I think this might be the first album he did with Crazy Horse. Everybody knows This Is Nowhere. I think it's his second or third solo album, but his first with Crazy Horse, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Cinnamon Girl? Yeah, Cinnamon Girl's on here, along with, there's another Cowgirl in the Sand, I think. Great 10-minute piece. The Beatles. Again, I never say no to the Beatles. I have this album several different ways. This one's on the green and purple Capitol label. I have no idea. Don't ask how early it is. I don't know. Boz Scaggs. This is the one that broke him. Silk Degrees. Of course, this has What Can I Say and Lowdown, and Lido Shuffle's on this album. So again, yacht rock at its greatest. I love this cover. This is the Supremes, the only album I own by the Supremes. It's called The Supremes A Go Go. It's like their 8th or 9th or 10th album. I don't know. They release one every 4 months, it seems. But this has the song that really broke them, You Can't Hurry Love, is on this. And this is a very early pressing of this album. I don't know. Maybe one of you guys can tell me. It's on the original Motown. I don't even know if that's original, but it's the classic Motown purple label. And the Supremes are obviously a classic and a great story too, almost tragic story, the way they ended up not liking each other at the end, but whatever, it's all about the music. Everybody has to have Jerry Rafferty, City to City, right? I never owned it. There was 2 copies of it in this collection, so I'm keeping one. Oh yes, this is Dave Mason's It's Like You Never Left, and this is a very trippy album cover. And I think this is the one that has the song that was his hit. I don't know, but very well respected, and of course he was in Traffic, so why not keep it? More Michael Jones. I showed some Michael Jones in the first video. Sunscapes. And then we had here's something in The Shrink, Leon Redbone, Red to Blue. I don't know Leon. I know that it's kind of like a niche thing that he does. He does his thing. It's a very heavy instrumental and his very distinctive vocal style. This will never be played. It's got a really cool album cover. It's called Red to Blue. All right, got some classic stuff in here. Stay with me. Oh. All right, here is Art Tatum, the one and only. Very cool box of Art Tatum. And this one has a great book that goes with it. Talks all about art. I'm unfamiliar with him as I am with most jazz, so I'm very, very excited to have this and learn about him. There's other boxes in here from other jazz artists as well that I'm not going to show. Three more in this video. Chick Corea's Return to Forever, Light as a Feather. We've shown several Chicks already. This is 1973. It seems like everything Chick Corea did with Return to Forever was 1973. Polydor, red Polydor label. Jazz Critics' Choice. Yeah, this is really cool. And this is on the Columbia label. You can see that. Very cool custom entered, custom label. And then the last one for this video, 20 minutes, thanks for hanging with me, is Leon Redbone's On the Track. And this is, I thought this was cool because the cover was drawn by the same guy who did the Warner Brothers cartoons. I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? I forgot that character's name, the frog, but it is the same guy that did it. And Leon was quite a character. And here's the label, you know the label. So I decided to keep it. All right, so that's part 2, guys. I'm gonna cut it here. And we're gonna do one more, part 3, and then, like I said, we may go and do the maybes over there. Who knows? I'm not sure. We'll see how much stamina I have tonight. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys, and thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you real soon.